Hi YouTube, Darth here. This is Over Your Shoulder, where I follow unsuspecting players and give commentary and advice on their play. Today's victim is Ramenbear, a level 136 with some average stats and what looks like a general preference for infantry gameplay. I followed Ramenbear for a little while on the previous match of Golmud, and I wasn't terribly impressed with the tanking, so let's see how this round of Operation Locker shakes out. As I follow Ramenbear, I'll call out all the good things, bad things, and the things I might do differently. So let's take a look over Ramenbear's shoulder. Alright, we are on the US team with Ramenbear. We've got the Scar H, a personal favorite of mine. Coyote, Green Laser, Flash Hider, probably would ditch that. Potato Grip. Setup's okay. Probably wouldn't be my setup. I'd probably switch that Potato Grip for an angled grip or a folding grip. But that is my personal playstyle. If you like to hold down the trigger a little bit, that Potato Grip will do you just fine. And it looks like we're doing the gravy train to the middle like every team always does on this map. But fortunately we have quite a few team members going on the outside there, so this should be an interesting round. I'm kind of curious to see who wins the middle here. That'll probably determine who is going to probably win the match. We'll see. It depends on how well that outside push does. A couple of guys here run into a couple grenades, nicely thrown. And you can't fight the sheer power of numbers forever. And spawn straight into the fire on the outside lane. Alright, back in the thick of it. Let's take a look at how the game has progressed so far. Ooh, not so good for the American team. Let's see how we managed to pull this one out. Catches an enemy there with a little bit of help from a teammate. Throwing some health, waiting for more to come around the corner. I'd be keeping a keen eye on that mini-map. Catches that guy right there. There's the power of the Scar H. One of my favorite starting weapons. I've since switched to the M416. Just a little bit more accuracy when you need it and a few more rounds in the can. We can hear that there's a lot of traffic over here to the right. Almost catches that enemy. Doing a little bit of it too much hoppity-hop work. Checks out this little cubby. Nobody home. Oh, looks like we missed somebody, funny enough, to come out of the walls. Who knows? Looks like that outside lane is really their problem right now. And so those bullets to the face. So we are on an official server, just in case you're wondering. So there's a lot of new players around. Getting those good revives off. A couple enemies here. Might have turned off that laser sight if you're going to be looking down sights very often. Barely holding on to this. Yeah, definitely turn off that laser sight right here because you're going to give yourself away to the enemy. Does a huge turn and misses where all those enemies are. Probably could have been shot down in any other circumstances. Going for the long draw here. I might even go up this left route here and try to catch a couple in the back. We can see a few right here. Might have stuck in that stairwell a little bit more just to get some cover. In trouble. Thankfully, no one paying attention, but not for long enough. Back up. Looks like we pushed through here. Plenty of enemies behind us currently. Bravo. Might go take a look at that instead. Catches one guy here. Good job peeking those corners. You're not going to make it through the center here. The enemy team would have respawned by now. And that back becomes a problem. Back up here in the center, getting some revives off. Maybe not. Peeking around a little bit. I really hate the center attempt at pushing. Like, you can hold this with a squad at most is all you would ever need. Gets a little peek and grenade work on. Every time you go to that portcullis, it is a coin flip of whether you're going to live or die. And so many people take this route and completely ignore everything else like the enemies behind them. Something I find that new players are particularly bad with on this map, heck, even experienced players, is just awareness of the map in general. Like, you can see right now that you got this huge push going on in the center. You got two outside. You could probably push that outside lane no problem. If people would think just a little bit more on this map, they probably could do better. Looks like we got a revive from a friendly, only for 30. The big kit is a little bit more effective on this map because you have giant wads of people that come by at any given time. Give you a bunch of points for it. Typically I've been running with the small med pack recently and still have enemies shooting us from behind. That's very strange. That could have been a bug too. I can see that there's a few behind the... There's just too many fucking people here. Seriously, what the hell are you planning on accomplishing? Like, you have like 8 people on both sides. I mean, if you're looking for revive trains, this is kind of the way to go, but if you want to get the state of the game out of where it's at, I mean, where the enemy team is up 200 points, you have to go outside. You're not going to suddenly murder the entire enemy team coming through here. You might get 1 or 2 like that, and it's nice to pick them off with this high damage weapon. If you're going to go this route, I probably would pick a shotgun or possibly an AEK, something with even a little bit more damage output than the Scar H. This weapon's nice on maps that are slightly larger. Looks like somehow we managed to catch the enemy team with their pants down. I would just keep pushing past this. I wouldn't bother trying to cap it. We missed that enemy entirely that's behind us, going for the back rage here. Manages to get one of them. Couple enemies here, one to the left, missing him entirely. Manages to get that good old eagle spam, which is probably about all that weapon is good for, but gets killed by the responders. And revived, so we will jump right back on that. Doing a little bit of retreating here, we can see that the enemy has gotten behind us again. Probably came up from the center. Oh no, respawns. Oh, that respawn system's so good. Oh, wow. This is the chaos that is lockers, folks. Down about 200 points still. Managing to actually push C's for a little while here. It looks like the enemy team's back on it. And nobody seems to be winning that outside lane just yet, but really the Russian team just has to keep in control of it to hold on to C, no problem. Taking a look around here, we can see that the enemy team is full up here in the center. Managed to kill one of them there. There's just too many. And there's really the weakness of the Scar H on this map in particular, is there are so many enemies at so many given points in time that if one comes around the corner, you can take care of them no problem, just like that. If two come around the corner, you might get them and still have ammo left in your magazine. And if the third one, which almost always happens, comes around the corner, you're pretty much with your pants down. Sitting in the way here, it gets grenaded, no problem. Getting the revives off. If you want your points, this is the way to do it, folks. Which is not surprising that as a server full of new players would mostly hang out here. And really, it's all about that outside lane for keeping control of Charlie. And you can see that the Russians are actually starting to lose it a little bit, even though they've been in control. And there's that coin flip, and he's killed. A couple coming around the corner. Like, any reason to try and push this hole so aggressively? Like, you might pick off one or two. And we can see that there's enemies that are coming in down below, which I'd probably start worrying about. Might not go around this corner reviving. You might live to regret that. And walking straight into the revive and straight into enemy fire, you're going to get eaten alive here. And down goes Ramenbear. Back up. Back down? Not quite. Finally cleared those guys out. New players don't know how to open that set of doors over there. There's an alarm on the wall that will let you get through there if you look through the door. And we're finally managing to push this point. Somehow we knocked them all off. That outside lane still firmly in control of the Russian hands. Lots of guys in the stairwell there, need to be careful. I'll probably turn off that laser again. Going for the up the stairs route. Hoping there's no C4 down below. As I said, that outside lane is controlled by the Russians. You can see that the back cap is also in their hands, and just not enough firepower to get up those stairs. But a handful of reses do appear. Let's get back to first person. There we go. Lots of enemies outside. 5 guys trying to push their way through a door. Yep, this is lockers. No surprises there. Let's take a look at the tabletop, see what we got going on. Yeah, like I said, the outside lane controlled by the Russians. The inner 2 points now can also being controlled by the Russians. Looks like some Americans have made it to the back. So now we have to do this back cap thing. We pull all those people off the center. We have the team that's sort of mixed around. Probably would have been better to hip fire there. And this map is really about strategy. Manages to catch a couple here. Few in on the point. Missing this guy, getting some hip fire done. Manages to kill him, surprisingly. Gets shot down in the kitchen. No cookies. Back up in the med bay. The US team is managing to backcap the Russian team now. Looks like a couple had slipped through, and we have a couple that are smartly spawning on friendlies here. Catches that guy in the respawn. Terrible time to spawn on somebody. You definitely want to take a look and see what condition your teammates are in or where they're at before you choose to spawn on them. Like, it might look kind of advantageous, but a lot of times they might just be in the middle of the enemy team. A lot of times I'm in the middle of the enemy team, and my squad mates definitely regret spawning on me in those circumstances because I tend to mix it up inside. Nope, that door is not open. Coming in the back way again. Let's see what our situation is here real quick. That map's pretty evenly split right now. Still about a 240 point difference now for the Russian team. Going up this route, I probably would have stuck to the flag a little bit more. Almost gets C4'd there. Definitely a favorite tactic of people who really love these stairs. See a couple enemies down below. Got a couple of friendlies going out the door, so we're pretty well covered there. Again, turn off that laser. That is going to get you sighted, no problem. And I have to say that that potato grip is really not coming in handy for him because he is actually bursting pretty frequently and not holding down the trigger. taking a look here. Looks like we got a couple of revives going off. You got the Zerg going on here in the center, which is really the Achilles heel of any team that plays this. Is you have this giant mass of players that just keeps on going through the map, no matter what the situation is. They're all heading to the back cap. C is probably going to get captured here by the Russian team as they come up from No Doubt Delta. Yep, you can see it right there. And we have a couple in the backfield. Yeah, this game is pretty well over as far as the actual who's going to win. I can tell you it's going to be the Russian team because this American team is not collectively smart enough to figure out how to do this. 6 to cover there. Good job. Yeah, that potato grip's not doing them any favors right now. That one was kind of a longer burst, but still. This is a very controllable weapon. I don't know if you need this. So, looks like we're going to finally push on to Alpha. As I said, we've lost Charlie. Bravo will probably be next, given that the entire American team is running away from that point. Pulls out the Deagle briefly. Gets that reload in. I love the fast reloads of the Scar H. That is a very nice redeeming feature on this weapon. Looks like we found an enemy out there. Picks him down pretty quick. Nice mini-map awareness in that case. Overall, the American team could use a little bit more map awareness on this particular map to try and get themselves turned around here, and definitely a little bit more heads up on the outside lane. Back alive at Echo on a squad mate. Probably not going to be facing a whole lot of resistance. Nope, there's a couple coming in now. They don't seem to be paying very much attention to what's going on. They get cut down pretty quick. Points finally getting pushed. We can see there's a couple enemies below. I'd probably spread out so you don't all get killed at one point. Almost did, actually. Have one come up the stairs here. Beat him. He's looking in the wrong direction. It's often a hard call. It's usually why I come through this back area. He's smartly staying alive so his squad can spawn on him. Good team play right there. Keeping an eye on the ground level. Usually I like to watch that crossover just in case people come through there, because your more experienced players tend to come through that way rather than trying to come up directly into the fire where everybody's looking down through. Is that a... Nope, that's a dead body. We don't have to worry about that one. Worrying about the flag. We had at least one squad mate covering that angle. Pretty good. Looks like we have everybody covering the angles they need to be covering. One in the center, one outside, one in the inner lane. Almost gets taken out there. There's that alarm and shot down from a surprise enemy. Spawns on Echo, possibly a squad mate. This is going to be over in short order here. Getting that revive off. Make people feel good at the end of the round. Not so bad. And taking a look at how this ended up, not well. And this round is over, and it really didn't go too well for the American team. As for Ramenbear, my first suggestion would be to push that outside lane of lockers quite a bit more, something that the Scar H would have been much better suited for than the CQB interior. As for the loadout of the Scar H, I'd definitely drop that flash hider and consider swapping the potato grip for an angled if you're disciplined enough for burst fire. There's definitely a Me Too mindset that too many players, Ramenbear included, get into on Operation Locker. Bundling up as a group is really just a good way to lose the match, and I'd highly recommend refocusing on the objectives that the enemy team is not at. You really have to be the smarter player on lockers, but otherwise some decent play from Ramenbear and particularly good teamwork in picking up friendlies at full health. That's it for this episode of Over Your Shoulder. If you'd like to be featured on a future episode, be sure to get in contact with me in one of the many ways listed in the description below. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time, YouTube.